Right now in the East Texas news, as of all, a man serving 8 years for stalking gets 3 new charges for the same crime. We'll have more on him and how to protect yourself from unwanted prison mail. Plus, just in, another person jumps over the White House fence. We'll tell you just how far they got this time. And later, lost and found, an East Texas woman is looking for the owner of a special military medal.
And clouds are headed our way, but will they produce any rain? I'll answer that question and more coming up as your KTRE 9 News at 10 is underway.
Live in high definition, you're watching KTRE 9 News, your East Texas news leader.
Hello, thank you for joining us tonight. We have some breaking news out of Pollock where an 18-wheeler and a pickup truck have collided. The accident occurred near US 69 and FM 843. Now, these are images we're just now getting into the newsroom. The traffic heading north on 69 towards Tyler is slow going, and traffic to 69 south is completely blocked off at this point. Now, according to DPS officials, the driver of the 18-wheeler is uninjured, but a person in the pickup truck he collided with is being transported to the hospital. DPS officials tell us they're trying to keep traffic flowing by alternating traffic on the single lane available. Now, we'll continue to update you with more information as the story becomes more available. Now, moving on, a Zavala man already serving an 8-year sentence for stalking has now 3 new stalking charges. Eddie Bryan has been indicted on new stalking charges after authorities allege he wrote several harassing letters to women while in prison. East Texas News 9's Caleb Beam talked with authorities about the charges and how to protect yourself from unwanted prison mail.
Imagine opening your mail and getting harassing letters from a prisoner 300 miles away.
Disgusting is an understatement.
Investigators say that's what Zavala resident Eddie Bryan did to several St. Augustine women while behind bars, serving time for another harassment charge.
It was very sexually explicit. He was describing things of a sexual nature that he wanted to do to these women. In one case, he stated that he knew where the woman lived.
St. Augustine County Chief Deputy Gary Cunningham said Bryan would locate the victims through the local paper and then would write the letters. Bryan has been marked high risk by the department because of his prior history and wording of the letters.
There are many cases in which fantasies no longer satisfy the individual, and it escalates in a very bad way.
Cunningham also said that this form of stalking is hard to fight, and that's because prisoners are allowed to send letters to the outside world since they do have rights. He says if you're ever concerned about any prisoner sending you a letter, you can sign up for a no-mail list at the Texas Department of Criminal Justice's website. Investigators say right now there are just 3 pending charges, but they are confident that there could be more.
I would encourage all of your listeners to contact law enforcement if they have received one of these alarming letters. We feel that there are probably more victims out there.
Caleb Beams, KTRE, East Texas News 9.
Cunningham says the indictments have not been issued yet. His department is waiting until Bryan gets closer to the end of his current sentence to issue the most recent indictments. Now tonight, a St. Augustine man is behind bars charged with 4 state felonies. Now this is him, 28-year-old Kenneth Grimmett. He was arrested on October 16th on an outstanding warrants in connection to allegations he was assaulting his female cousin earlier this year. Grimmett also stole a car and fled, almost hitting the woman's 2 small children, ages 8 and 10, in the process. Chief Deputy Gary Cunningham says last week a grand jury indicted him on 4 state jail felony charges of unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, aggravated assault of a family member causing injury, and 2 counts of endangering a child. Authorities say he was intoxicated when he got into the fight with his cousin. Now we've got to follow up on a story we first brought you at 6. The scene in Gregg County tonight has been cleared up after early this morning a cattle hauler overturned, killing about 40 cows. It happened here around 3:30 this morning in the westbound lanes of I-20 in Gregg County near mile marker 593. DPS troopers say the driver fell asleep at the wheel, running off the roadway while the trailer tipped on its side. Fire crews and county workers tried to cut openings into the trailer to save as many cattle as possible. The driver and passenger were hospitalized with minor injuries. Only 35 of the 75 cattle in the trailer were saved. Now, the scene was cleared around 6 p.m. tonight. An Lufkin woman is back in jail after she made the same mistake twice in 2 days. Officers first arrested Yolanda Whitaker Monday after she tried to get rid of a gallon-sized bag of marijuana at a daycare. She posted a $1,500 bond, and the very next day got stopped in a routine traffic stop again. She was in possession of another gallon-sized bag of marijuana. This time, there is no bond set for Whitaker. And well, it happened again. A person made it over the White House fence. Now, good news is authorities say the person barely made it over before being taken down by a canine and quickly detained by Secret Service agents tonight. Now, this is the second White House fence jumper in just a few months. In mid-September, Omar Gonzalez made it over the White House fence through the front doors and into the East Room before being tackled by Secret Service members. On Tuesday, Gonzalez was found not competent to stand trial. And we've got an update on the Dallas nurse who contracted Ebola. Her family says the CDC cannot detect the virus in her system anymore, and she's being moved out of isolation. Amber Venison's family just released this photo of her from her hospital bed. She is being treated at Emory Hospital in Atlanta. Venison contracted the virus while treating a Liberian man at Texas Presbyterian Hospital in Dallas. Her family says she's regaining strength and her spirits are high. We also got an update on the other nurse who worked with Venison, Nina Pham. Now, she's said to be in good condition and is being treated at a hospital in Bethesda, Maryland. And officials in Ottawa say Corporal Nathan Carrillo is the Canadian soldier shot and killed today. Now, he was guarding a hallowed war memorial when he was gunned down. He's seen in this photo posing with a visitor to the memorial just a few days ago. Now, part of Canada's capital were on lockdown for hours today following the shooting at the memorial and another in the Hall of Parliament. The gunman was killed, but authorities haven't ruled out the possibility that an additional shooter could be on the loose. And after being held in North Korea for 5 months, Jeffrey Fowl is back home with his family. North Korea accused Fowl of leaving a Bible at a club for foreign sailors in violation of the law. The 56-year-old did not make a statement, but gave the 2 thumbs up sign when a reporter asked just how he was doing. Now, 2 other Americans, Kenneth Bay and Matthew Miller, are still being detained in North Korea. And the Austin, Texas man suspected of being a serial killer has been charged with a second murder in Indiana. 43-year-old Darren Devon Van was arrested over the weekend after a missing persons report led police to a body in a bathtub at a Motel 6. Police say he confessed to that murder, then led them to 6 more bodies. The first murder charge was filed on Monday. Now, today, Van was charged with a second murder. The Lake County coroner says 4 of the female victims have been identified. Now, during Van's court hearing in Indiana today, he refused to answer any questions. When Van refused to respond a second time, the judge postponed the hearing for 1 week. Now, up next on the Texas News at 10, we'll introduce you to a 2-time cancer survivor. We'll tell you what her biggest inspiration to push forward was. Hear her story in tonight's Survivors Report. But up next, a new plan to get East Texans moving could be just around the corner. KTRE, your East Texas news leader, back in 60 seconds. Welcome back. Residents in Nacogdoches say they are concerned about the bike and hiking trails in the area. Today, a member of the National Complete and Street Coalition spoke to Rotary Club members on how Nacogdoches can improve its personal mobility. East Texas News 9's Malia Kamal has the story.
Shannon White is a massage therapist in downtown Nacogdoches. White says she likes her location, but admits navigating through the area at times can be frustrating.
A lot of the sidewalks are cracked in the downtown area. Some of them are really narrow. There's places where there are no sidewalks at all.
Kevin St. Jacques is a walking and bicycling advocate. He says when it comes to the layout of Nacogdoches, it doesn't cater to pedestrians. He says as the city developed, sidewalks were left out of the equation.
And as we moved into the automobile-oriented era, forgot about sidewalks, forgot about people mobility, and we're more interested in moving cars throughout the city.
He says the lack of adequate sidewalks in the area forces people like White to drive short distances when they can normally walk to and from their destinations. And when you look at studies, 55% of Americans would rather walk more and drive less.
There are national standards for the design and development of bike and ped facilities, but a lot of facilities we have around here were developed long before these standards, and so we have to retrofit the new designs.
But if upgrades aren't made soon, it won't be just a convenience issue, but a safety issue.
You don't have adequate space for passing a wheelchair properly through this area.
Now I'm at the corner of Main and Pearl Street, and this sidewalk right here is a really tight space and could definitely use an upgrade. It's about 2 feet wide, which would make it really hard for someone in a wheelchair to navigate through.
Standards for wheelchair access is approximately 3 feet wide. He says sidewalks not only add to public safety, but to property value, which is something that residents would like to see. In Nacogdoches, Malia Kamal, KTRE, East Texas News 9.
However, the needed improvements could be quite costly. Now, if you're interested in hearing more about the bike and hike trail, you can attend the town hall meeting that will be held this Tuesday at the Commercial Bank in Nacogdoches. Now, Brad, what do you think about a bike ride tonight? I mean, it seems like a really nice time out there.
Yeah, it is. That hike and bike trail weather is great this time of year because we're having low humidity, John, cool temperatures. Overall, just great weather you could ask for this time of year. And that may be just enough to give us a slight chance of rain by the time we head towards next Tuesday.
Thanks, Brad. Now, 23 years ago, a Lufkin woman learned she was pregnant, then found out she had cervical cancer. And as she went into surgery to remove the cancer, the doctors told her when she wakes up, she might not be pregnant anymore. But that wasn't the end of her battle. East Texas News 9's Leah Hughes talked with two-time cancer survivor Jean Ann Keene, who recently finished her last chemo treatment for breast cancer. Here's her story in tonight's Survivors Report.
Jean Ann Keene is enjoying retirement. She spent more than 30 years teaching at Garrett Primary in Lufkin. She just watched her oldest daughter, Kylie, get married, but she had some obstacles to conquer before making it to today.
23 years ago in January, I thought I was pregnant.
But that wasn't the only news she got that year.
And they found out that I had cancer.
Jean Ann had cervical cancer, but more heartbreaking than hearing her diagnosis was what doctors said next.
We don't think you can have this baby, which meant they needed me to terminate the pregnancy, which just killed me. It was awful because they told me they could save me, but they didn't know if they could save the baby.
She ended up in a doctor's office who performed abortions. Jean Ann said she was praying the whole time. She really didn't want this to happen, so she asked the doctor if there was anything else he could do. And it turns out the doctor was friends with the head of gynecology at MD Anderson.
And I'm just sitting there amazed. I'm thinking, God, who would have thought you would bring me to an abortion doctor to get me where I needed to go?
2 days later, she was in Houston scheduling a surgery to get rid of the cancer, but the surgery came with a 50-50 chance she would lose the baby.
So I went in not knowing if I would be pregnant when I woke up. And I tell people, I always remember the nurse waking me up. She's nudging my shoulder saying, Miss Keene, wake up. You're still pregnant. And it was wonderful. And Karen is 23 years old now.
Jean Ann beat cervical cancer with no chemo or radiation. But in 2002, she and her family were on their way to Austin for spring break and were involved in a serious car accident.
Another car coming the other way crossed the center lane and hit us head on.
Jean Ann said she knew God was with them in the car, and although it was a serious accident, her family was all okay. But cancer would come back to haunt her once again.
When I got the call saying you had breast cancer, and of course you go through all the anxiety and the questions, but I knew immediately God was going to take care of it. I knew he might not take it away, which he didn't. And I went through some hard things. Breast cancer is tough, and it's the stuff you go through is awful.
She had a mastectomy and completed her final chemo treatment in May.
My hair's coming back a little bit, slowly but surely. They say I'm cancer-free right now, so I can't complain.
Jean Ann says no one ever wants to face a cancer diagnosis, but there is hope, and she's proof of it.
I've got hope for, looking towards the future. I'm not the same person that I was before cancer, but hopefully God's made me a better person through that.
Leah Hughes, KTRE, East Texas, News 9.
Now, Jean Ann got to go to her oldest daughter's wedding in Colorado this summer. And she got to watch her youngest daughter, who survived Jean Ann's cancer, graduate college and start work. Now, if you have a survivor story to share or know of someone who has overcome a life challenge, send an email to jautry@ktre.com. Now, our sports director, Laura Sadler, joins us now, and I'm still getting used to all the team names, but apparently the Lufkin Panthers have a big game Friday.
Yeah, one of the biggest schools that we cover, so now you know that. And it's going to be a huge game, easily the biggest game of district play. And they're taking on Ennis. They're undefeated, but hear why the Panthers say they have a huge advantage. Next in sports. This game's kicking off 7:30 in Lufkin, and the Pack need to do just that. Pack that stadium and cheer on Lufkin.
Well, we wish them the best of luck. We'll be right back. Before we leave you tonight at 10, an East Texas woman is on a mission to identify the owner of a U.S. Marine Corps medal she found buried in her front yard. She says she's been trying for almost a year with no luck so far. Tawny Fox says she was in her front yard when she first saw a piece of the medal sticking up out of the ground. Tawny says that the property she lives on has been owned by the same people since the 1980s. The owners say it's not theirs, so she says it's possible the necklace has been missing since then. Now, Fox says she just wants the necklace to be back where it belongs. And speaking of belonging, it's been a wonderful first day with the two of you guys.
So it's been nice having you.
Yeah. So just a little bit about myself. I'm originally from Dallas, Garland actually. So you got you North Texas people here.
I'm from Dallas area.
So yeah, it's just been a great time to be with you guys. So any pointers, anything I should know about?
Well, I'll just say a lot of small towns in East Texas, so yeah, we got to do our homework on those, or people will let you know about it.
But the people are always nice.
Yes, they are.
Well, I'm looking forward to meeting everyone. I know we work out at the gym downtown, so I'm looking forward to meeting everyone out there as well.
And you came from Victoria, right?
I did. I came from Victoria, first job, and then before that I was in New York as a producer, so I've been all over the place, which is nice.
Well, we're glad to have you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. All right, that's all the time we have tonight at 10 o'clock, We'll see you back here for 6 and 10. And as always, you can catch up on all the things we're doing at KTRE.com. Have a great night.
Let the news follow you. From exclusive web content to text and email alerts, get your news wherever you are. Sponsored by Loving Toyota.